mid. Of all the anime that I know of, I don't think any get called mid quite as much as Demon Slayer does. Now, whether or not that is deserved is what I am here to talk about. I am the Ubiyashiki to your Hashira, and the Muzan to your 12 Kazuki for my fellow little masochists out there. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. Now, as for why I am qualified to talk about this at all, well, I'm not. But I have been watching anime for an absurdly long time, and I've probably put thousands upon thousands of hours, not exaggerating, into watching it. I have seen the bottom of the barrel, and I have seen the very peaks of the mountaintops. And to go ahead and get my opinion on Demon Slayer out of the way, I love Demon Slayer. Really, I do. It really has solid moments and a really solid foundation. Whether or not the story is basic, it takes it somewhere nice. It has good characters and a simple but overall good message, right? Where hope. Hope gets passed along from one person to the next, and that keeps happening, and eventually those hopes come to fruition through the people that have inherited it. Not necessarily unique by any means. However, it's nice. It's a good story, and it does feel very rushed at times. It only ever focuses on major plot points. You don't get to see the more everyday interactions between characters and just how they live their lives. You don't get to see standard jobs from the Demon Slayer Corps. And after the first season, I'd say after the first season and Mugen Train, the first movie, I'd say everything after that feels pretty rushed. But people have been insulting it since season one, and I don't get that. Maybe it's just because the story's basic, but like it it's done well, especially season one. It's structured well, it's paced well, and I don't really have any issues with season one at all, honestly. Or Mugen Train, the first movie. I thought that was all done really well. And I think Demon Slayer is just objectively good and for the most part well written. It does definitely have like I said, it's rushed and there's definitely moments where they could have done better. There's a lot of wasted potential for sure. I don't think that can really be argued there. But it is good. And I love Demon Slayer. I think it's amazing. And if by any chance you're watching this and you haven't seen Demon Slayer, I would highly recommend it. I think it's great. And it's not going to have anything deep in it. The story's nothing complex or nothing too original, but it's good. And I really think what it specializes in is its characters. It has some great characters. I've seen people complain that all the characters are the same, but like when your profession is killing man-eating monsters, you're likely not going to be in that profession unless you've been affected by man-eating monsters. So when a lot of the characters you see have backstories of, oh, my family was massacred by a demon a while back, which is why I'm here, it makes sense. That's the only reason I can think of as for why people say all the characters are the same, because with how they interact, the characters are pretty unique in and of themselves, and I like them. There's a lot of characters I really love, and they really do well, genuinely. And so, as for why Demon Slayer has gotten complaints since season one, I don't know. Like, really, objectively, I struggle to find a reason for why. Because unfortunately, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, however wrong they may seem at times. And, you know, even if I don't like something, like if it's just not for me, I'll still try to be objective about it and be like, oh, this is well written. Like, it's good. It's just not for me. But like the general consensus among people seem to be like, if I don't like it, it's bad. Which is what a lot of people do with Demon Slayer. Like objectively, it's not poorly written. It's just there's just a lot of wasted potential there. Demon Slayer definitely could have been like absolute peak. And it does have its moments that are absolute peak. Like Infinity Castle, the movie, that was just amazing all the way through. I don't think you can draw up any complaints with that. But man, people just if it's not for them, it's not okay for it to be for anybody. And that's just how people are, unfortunately. Now, I'm gonna start off with some of my complaints. Like I said, I like season one a lot, and I don't really have complaints there. Maybe except for the fact that some of the flashbacks there feel more underwhelming than those you see later in the series. But other than that, I feel like it's really well. It's a good introduction to Tanjiro and, why he sets out on his journey. But after season one, it really feels like they only try to focus on major plot points, whereas season one you got to see more small scale events take place because Tanjiro's starting out on his journey, so you get to see his first little steps on it. Whereas season two onward, it's just the big steps. It's only ever major plot points, and I just don't like that. I personally like seeing more of the everyday of a character's life so you can get to know the character better, and I like seeing their relationships develop further as well. Tanjiro's relationships, besides those with Zenitsu and Inosuke, kind of lack development. The same goes with every character in the show. And I feel like it could really be fixed if you didn't just try to focus on major plot points exclusively. And it's a shame that it does that because the characters themselves, like I said, I really love a lot of these characters, and I would have loved to see just more of their casual interactions. I would have loved to see Tanjiro just go on regular missions and slowly rank up in the Demon Slayer Corps. And because like the ranking system, they mention maybe twice or three times throughout the entirety of the series, and it just would have been a cool system to see. And Tanjiro gets really strong really fast. Season 1, it's fine for me. I know he happens to know the Hinokami Kagura dance, and you could argue that that's a bit of plot armor that he just happens to know the most powerful breathing style that there is. But man, I thought it was cool because as a child he watched his father dance, and then when his life is flashing before his eyes, he remembers that specific moment and decides to try it, and it works. He's able to let forth a bit more power to get him out of a life or death situation, and I liked that. I thought it was cool. So I think him knowing Hinokami Kagura is fine, and truly, the problem with it is that that really becomes his almost exclusive crutch, and it'd be fine if they were more creative with it. So Hinokami Kagura is sun breathing, right? Which is the origin of all breathing forms, which is the entirety or almost the entirety of the power system in Demon Slayer. And so Tanjiro knows sun breathing because his father happened to know it. That was a traditional dance he did every year. So Tanjiro knows sun breathing. He also learned water breathing from a former Hashira. So you already have him. He knows water breathing, right? He gets to know sun breathing. He knows two breathing forms. And in, I believe it was Swordsmith Village arc, he uses thunder breathing once in order to let forth a ridiculous burst of speed, which is what thunder breathing is about. So you have, he has used three different breathing styles, one being the origin of all of them, two being some of the offshoots. So, theoretically, could Tanjiro not learn all the breathing styles? Maybe not master them, but like dabble in all of them. Like a jack of all trades, but it wouldn't matter because he still perfectly knows the original breathing style, which would be his real power source. The other ones would just be good backup plans, you know? Just cool effects. Like he was able to be really fast because he used thunder breathing once. And water breathing was really good for him for a lot of the series as well until he was able to build up endurance to use sun breathing more. And that could have been a really cool power system for Tanjiro to use. Whereas everyone else is stuck to one breathing style exclusively, he can tap into all of them and use them at will, or at least maybe just one style from all of them would have been a really cool idea, but it's just never explored more than the fact that he can do water breathing and he does thunder breathing the one time. And the rest is just him being able to use more of sun breathing, which is cool that he's able to learn that, but it could have been a lot better, in my opinion at least. I would have loved to see him just dabble in all of them. So I think the power progression could have been, instead of, just the sun breathing getting better and better, Tanjiro just starts learning more and more, and he starts fighting smarter rather than harder, which I will say Demon Slayer does a great job of building tension in fights and making it seem like life or death situations. Like, especially season 2, the end of it felt really tense because it all kind of went to crap very quickly at the end, and they were able to salvage it, and that was really cool to see. But that was due to another part of the power system, not just sun breathing or other breathing styles. But it would have been really cool if that's how Tanjiro advanced power wise, and sun breathing could always be a part of that, just not the sole fixation of it. So yeah, my I think that gets like my main complaints for Demon Slayer out of the way. Just the fact that it's rushed, and like I was talking about the power system, like that's part of it being rushed. It just Tanjiro's strength feels unnatural at times, and he does become kind of a chosen one figure. He's like there's like another person that's more of the chosen one that existed in the past, but he definitely feels like the modern iteration of he's the one who came around and allowed them to eventually defeat the demons entirely. So I don't have a problem with the chosen one concepts, mind you. It's just I wish it was handled better. Just him knowing sun breathing didn't have to be the sole reason behind his power. And yeah, that's it for my complaints. More about Tanjiro himself is I feel like he's actually a pretty good main character, where I know a lot of people have problems with nice guy protagonists, but it makes sense in his case where he shows empathy towards demons because his sister is one, and he still takes care of her, he still loves her, and he knows that she was once human. So whenever he fights a demon, he always keeps in mind that this person or this demon used to be a person, and he tries to respect the memory of them as a person, but he doesn't spare them or anything. He always gets the job done, which is what I feel like a lot of people don't really appreciate about Tanjiro. Is even if he like senses how tragic a demon's life story may be, he'll always kill them because they're a demon and they've done things that can't be erased. Seeing Tanjiro empathize with demons, and like I know a big complaint of Demon Slayer is all the flashbacks that happen, and to a point, I get it. Like some of them do feel a bit much when it's like every single demon he fights, you see the backstory of. Well, not every single one, but close to. Like I get it, but I feel like it's important at times for the demon's character and Tanjiro's character to see the more human side of things. I feel like all the flashbacks do a good job of showing why the demon ended up a demon and how like Tanjiro himself in season 2, he says that Gyutaro and Daki could have been him and Nezuko in like another life. And I feel like that's the case for all the demons where they could have done better than they did, but it's it's just these people who were forced into tragic situations, and like some of them became demons. You have other characters who went on to become Hashira because of what they went through and what it drove them to do. And I feel like it's a good parallel between the two, where you get to see how people respond to certain situations, and if they even get the chance to respond to certain situations. Muzan just pulled up really fast on some of those guys. All that is to say, I think the pity Tanjiro shows towards them, I think it's there for a good reason. And also, Tanjiro has some amazing crash outs. He has them every season too, and I love seeing all of his crash outs because they're all like justifiable, and he stands on business like no one else does. You have to give him that much credit. When you think of a beloved Demon Slayer character, I feel like the first one that's going to come to mind is Rengoku. And I also love Rengoku. I love Mugen Train. I think it's amazing. It had me in tears. And Rengoku himself is just such a strong character, even though he was such a short lived one. And I really feel like he kind of embodies the message of Demon Slayer of, one person's hopes going on to another and that continuous cycle leading to their hopes being fulfilled in some way, where Rengoku's mother placed her hopes in him to be a good person and protect others because he was born stronger, and he does that. And then when he is succumbing to his wounds and he calls Tanjiro over for a last talk, he tells him that he needs to keep going. He needs to carry on hopes. But he tells him that time waits for no one and that he needs to get stronger too. And Rengoku says that he believes all three of them will make amazing Hashira. And then, of course, there's the iconic "Set your heart ablaze," which I love. You hear a lot of shonen catchphrases. I really feel like "Set your heart ablaze" is one of the better ones. Quotes will hit different for every person, but I love "Set your heart ablaze." I think it's amazing. I love it a lot. My favorite, probably inspirational shonen phrase, which there's quite a few of those. So now I'm also going to talk about the other end of the spectrum, where the most insulted character in Demon Slayer, Zenitsu. Personally, I like Zenitsu from the start. I know now that the Infinity Castle's out, a lot of people have been saying, I always believed in Zenitsu's potential, but I didn't believe in his potential. I just thought he was funny at first. The moment where he first meets Tanjiro, I just thought he was like a funny little character. But I will say, Mount Nagamo, I actually did start liking him as a character. I know it's not far into meeting him, but when he acknowledges how bad he is and how he himself hates how he is more than anyone else, and how he desperately wants to change but can't, I just appreciated him as a character from there because I feel like we can all relate to the feeling of wanting to change but not being able to, the desperate struggle to be better than how you are but not knowing how. And then in Zenitsu's unconscious state where he's able to do what he wants to, I also feel like that's an interesting dynamic, and I wish it was delved into more than it is, where it's just kind of a thing that happens. It's never really explained. he gets struck by lightning, and I guess that's why it happens. But man, I really wish we got to see more of how his unconscious state works and that versus his conscious state. Where like season two, you see him being unconscious at full force when he's up against the upper ranks, and he actually performs really well. He even talks to his teammates too during the fight, and it really seems like he's there. But then he wakes up, and it's like, what? I fought. Whatever. It they carry it too far without enough explanation for it, if you know what I mean. But if like I was saying, Infinity Castle, perfect. You have to love how he is in that. Where when it comes to Gramps, he is just locked in as locked in as he possibly could be, and he finally starts taking things like it took that much for him to be able to stand on business, but he does it in such a cool, satisfying way. They really have to appreciate his character for that much. And when Zenitsu does see his Gramps again, and you hear the whole "You are my pride and joy" line, I'm not gonna lie, that got a tear out of me. Uh, not not as many tears as the next character we're gonna talk about, which is Akaza. Now, for the astute among you, however few among you there are, you may have noticed in the background here, right there, that's the backside of Akaza. I'm sure someone noticed it. I hope someone noticed it. But yeah, that's my Akaza figure. It's really cool. I like it. One of my favorite figures. You can see I got like 2 display cases here. You can't really see everything that's in them, but yeah, there he is. I love Akaza, and I liked him from the start. I know he killed Rengoku, and I hated that he did that. And I love Rengoku; he's one of my favorite characters. But Akaza's the only demon that doesn't feel like pure evil from the start. Like every other demon is like their whole personality is being a demon, whereas Akaza, at least he had the martial arts mindset of I want to be stronger and I want to fight strong opponents, and he never wanted to kill and eat Rengoku. He just wanted him to become a demon so that they could get stronger together. Because like Akaza, he is so fed up with his own kind. He's he just is constantly annoyed by every other upper rank there is. And then I also you have to respect Akaza for Infinity Castle when he shows up. He apologizes to Tanjiro for calling him weak, and he like starts that with a quote from Rengoku. So like he very clearly remembers Rengoku, and he is able to tell you when he was wrong about something. And like it's like he got on his knees and apologized, or that he actually felt sorry about it. He was just like it's more that he was sorry that he almost missed out on fighting Tanjiro at peak performance. But even that is a lot better than what you see from all the other upper ranks that are just pieces of trash all the way through. But with Akaza, man, his backstory, I didn't just shed one tear. I was full on crying in the theater when I saw that. Even when I read the manga years ago, so I've known about Demon Slayer for a long time, like everything that happens. When I first read the manga, it got to me. When I was in the theaters, it got to me. It every time it will. It's just really sad where like Akaza really had a good shot in life as Hokage, but man, it wasn't even a demon that ruined it this time. It was just people. Like it was just people evil that were evil. And I feel like it really does a cool thing where Akaza from the when he first appears always harps on how much he hates weaklings. He even tries to kill Tanjiro instantly when he sees him because he thinks that he's weak. And it's seeing his backstory, and he's like, I hate weaklings. Weaklings are people who poison wells. Like that, I feel like they really did a good job in delving to how his human life affected his demon life. Where I'm sure a lot of you have also seen that his snowflake pattern for his blood demon art is the same as Koyuki's hairpin, and his hair is the same color as kimono. And then you have his tattoos as well, where a lot of his appearances and moves as a demon reflect stuff that happened in his life because his life meant so much to him. And that was kind of like the only upper rank where that was the case, besides like Gyutaro's connection to Daki, where that was the only thing he had going for him in life was how much he loved his sister. Akaza like genuinely had a life going for him that could have turned out really well if it weren't for the people who poisoned the well. And another thing I'd like to point out is I've seen a lot of like whenever I see a Kaza edit of any kind these days, I'll always see the one comment that's saying, "We love Hakuji, not Akaza," and I just don't like that at all because it feels like a disservice to his character because Akaza is who Hakuji is when you take away his memories and his sense of morals. Like that is a part of him as a character, and Akaza having so many elements from his life as Hakuji is proof that that is Hakuji just in a really bad situation. He's the same character, and I really feel like you're taking away from his character when you say like I love Hakuji but I hate Akaza. Because, like, yes, Akaza killed Rengoku. No one likes that, okay? Rengoku was amazing, and he could have continued to be amazing, but Akaza just cut that short. But still, like I was saying, I liked Akaza as a villain because his whole thing was never just being evil. He always had more to him than that, and his backstory really just highlights that so much. And it really feels like Hakuji and Akaza cannot be separated. They are one and the same. And it just all the demons are, really. Because like even though the upper ranks are evil, you see them being evil in their previous lives and how that affects them becoming a demon. Where some of them straight up remember their past fully. Uh, and Gyutaro, he remembered his past and he was like in every life I'd still choose to be a demon because he likes the power that came with it. So it really feels like a service to separate the human and demon when they're both the same character, just in a different circumstance, you know? So now I want to talk about some of the other characters that I like. I won't be as long on these ones, but number one, Gyome. Gyome is really cool. He's the Stone Hashira, right? And he really felt like the rock of the Hashira. He felt like the foundation that helps carry them through things. And he felt like a rock for a, like a lot of the characters. He really felt like a reliable guy, and he was just a really cool guy too. A tragic backstory, as per usual, of course. And I love Gyome. He's a really cool guy. And next, I want to talk about Shinobu. I love Shinobu. She's really cool. I love her silent anger she has going on, and she put up a great performance in the movie, though how that ended was just terrible. Like the levels of disrespect she got is just tragic, but she was a great character throughout the entirety of the series, and I really do love Shinobu. She's really cool. And then there's there's Mitsuri, where she's kind of on the other end of the spectrum, where like hard on her sleeve, and she's there just to be there, and she's adorable for it. She does have her really cool moments though. Swordsmith Village, she really helped carry things through, and she's adorable. I love her. The great female Hashiras, love them both. And of course, I need to mention Inosuke for a bit as well. Inosuke is really wholesome, where whenever someone shows any kindness to him, you always just see him taken aback and just genuinely happy. And he's adorable. He's also really funny for just like the, muscle headed kind of guy that he is. And lastly, Genya. I liked Genya a lot and how he decided to eat demons because he couldn't use breathing styles. Which that's a cool idea. He eats demons, he gets their strength and regenerative abilities, and he also just has a freaking gun he can use to shoot their heads off. So he's cool. I like him a lot, and I think that's it for specific characters I want to talk about. And now, before I go, I want to talk about what all these characters have in common. They're all carrying the dream of wanting to better other people's lives in the face of the threat that is demons. It, Mitsuri's there to be there, and she's adorable for it, so it's fine. But they're all carrying the same hope, the same dream, and I feel like that's very true to life, where whether you realize it or not, the hopes and dreams that you have are shared by countless other people that want to see them through as well. And yeah, you guys, everyone who has those dreams, they can be done. Your hopes can be fulfilled, but time waits for no one. Like Rengoku says, you need to be the one to take charge of what you wish for. And you need to be able to motivate and inspire yourself to chase after your goals. You need to set your heart ablaze. And I know there's a lot of shows that have the same or very similar message, but it's a message that needs to be out there. People need to know that what they want, a lot of other people do as well, and you can get what you want. You can make your own wishes come true. You just have to be the one to set that spark in your heart, to set your heart ablaze. And that's about it for my first video. And yeah, my first video, it's not going to be the best to watch. If you stuck it out all the way through, I really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you'll be here for the next one, which there will be a next one. I have a lot of free time on my hands, so I plan to be consistent. So if you stick around, I'll greatly appreciate that. And my next video will be Chainsaw Man because that movie also just came out. And I love Chainsaw Man. Words cannot describe my passion for Chainsaw Man. So I'd really appreciate it if you checked out that video because that'll be a very passionate one for me. And Demon Slayer, I like it a lot. Um, I'm gonna do a tier list for everything I watch. And Demon Slayer, it goes comfortably in A tier, where I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential there, where it could have been a lot more than it was, but never took the time to develop some really cool elements that it has. Which is, I know, that's how a lot of stories go. And now, there is a second part to the tier list, which is inspired by my best friend, my brother in Christ, who started a bit of a tradition we have. It's been a while since we done it because he's been flooded with college stuff, but it is now time for the waifu tier list. Yes, I know. This is something that I have done with my friend countless times. Anyways, Shinobu is comfortably in S tier, Mitsuri in A tier, and Muzan technically can be a waifu, and he goes in F tier. That is all. But yeah, if you stuck around, I appreciate it. Subscribe if you feel like it. I'll be here. I'll be consistent. And yeah, next will be Chainsaw Man. That'll be fun. I have my next few planned out for what I want to talk about, but once I get those done, I'll start asking for some suggestions. So if you want to see a random guy talk about a show that you like or that you hate, I'll talk about shows that aren't good if you want me to. Then yeah, feel free to recommend me anything you got. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you. Bye.